times are changing, prophecies come to pass, and God is pouring His Spirit out on all flesh. Welcome to Kingdom Talk, a place for the stories of the generals as well as the foot soldiers in the spiritual army of God. Today I'm having a guest, and his name is Efisio. He's making music, and he's making this incredibly beautiful music. It is, in the composer name of Efisio Cross. He's 26 years old. He comes from France, and he's making his music for Christ, for Yeshua, Jesus. But before we get into that, I just want to give you a tiny little glimpse of what his music sounds like. So are you with me, Efisio?
Hey, yes I am.
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
You're 26 years old and you live in France, and you are composing this wonderful music, just like the instrumental, well, the kind of music I love, actually.
Oh,
And so what made you start doing this? Have you done this all your life?
first, thank you so much for the kind words. It really means a lot. I started to do music 10 years ago by forming a rock band with my school friends. So I realized while going further in the field that I wanted to make it my everyday life for two main reasons. The first one was obviously because of my love for music, and the second one was more because of my personal worldview. I wanted to make music my kind of absolute for living. To me, if it was possible to escape the routine of the world, then I would follow this path.
Amazing. But you started with a rock band, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
that means you did not produce music for Christ in the beginning, am I right?
Yes, exactly. I wasn't a Christian at that time. I was more kind of dazed. I believe that there was a kind of higher power, but it was impersonal. So this belief had no deep impact on my everyday life. So yeah, it wasn't Christ focused like now.
But what made you change? I mean, at some point something happened.
Well, as said earlier, I thought that while making music, it was a possible way for me to escape this world. So I was searching for absolute, but as you can imagine, this absolute died. 3 years after doing rock music, I started to feel more and more empty. And I fell into a profound existential crisis, or a depression, I don't know how to call it. I realized that my life was fully absurd, and that I had no absolute foundation in any field of existence, whatever the field can be: morality, destiny, origins, meaning, the sense of beauty, and all of that. I had no foundation. So this very emptiness of my heart led me to 7 months of deep anguishes of death, where I had no peace at all in the morning, evening, and the nights. So as the pain was growing and growing, I started to consider the metaphysical area with more attention and depth. So I said to myself, if there is a God, if God does exist, then who He is, and who is He? There are so many belief systems in this world, so how to know which one is the true? So it was the kind of start where I decided to change, and to look for more matter, spiritual matter. So, to be honest, Christianity was the latest branch I wanted to investigate, mainly because of my big stereotypes I had. To me, it was a Catholic thing involving an unflattering clergy full of bloody history, with plenty of rituals and tons of stuff to accomplish in order to bring God's attention. So it wasn't for me at all. I have nothing against Catholic people, by the way. I have plenty of friends which are Catholic, but I disagree with the organization. But it was mainly because of my cliches that I don't wanted to investigate Christianity, biblical Christianity. So it was mainly because of my own ignorance. But
did you see it as a fake, like a fake movement or a fake religion where people were just skin deep, or?
Well, I don't know, fake. I will not use this word, but corrupted for sure. It wasn't living at all. It was more a traditional stuff. I wasn't seeing any kind of godly actions in that particular organization. Nothing relevant to me. So I preferred to stay away from that. I wasn't making the difference in my head. To me, the Bible and the Catholic organization was the exact same thing. So I don't want it to study the scriptures.
Yeah, but that makes sense. But you ended up doing it anyway, didn't you?
Yes, because for the very less I have studied, I was not moved by anything. So the last branch I needed to study, as said earlier, was Christianity. So I decided to study more the Bible because of the pain I was going through, not because of envy. I wasn't attracted by the Bible, to be honest. So to me, it was an old book written by kind of old priests and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And what happened? I mean, what made you respond to it in the way that you've done now? Now you are making music, dedicating it to God, and something happened.
Yes, the pain was getting bigger. So when I first started opening the Bible, I wanted to read the Old Testament like any kind of book you can have. You want to read from the beginning. But it was a mistake because I wasn't understanding anything. It was too complicated for me. It was a new lecture. So I wanted to know more, though. So I ordered a very easy to read New Testament, which is focused on Jesus Christ's life. And after a couple of pages, I knew that this Jesus wasn't like any other man at all. Everything in him attracted me and still attracts me. The way he acted, the way he spoke, the way he forgave, and most of all, his sacrifice at the cross and the resurrection. So everything in him was different. I wasn't saying at that time that it was God incarnated because I had no knowledge about that. But to me, it was bringing my attention, really. So when I came across the sacrifice, it was that make a true connection to my heart, really, because the huge suffering he went through the sacrifice and all of his life anyway broke me, because I was suffering a lot at that very same moment. So this person was close to human pain, human suffering. So to me, this person deserved my attention anyway, because if one gives his life for mankind, I will listen to what this person has to say. So it was that. I was really attracted by Christ, but I was still, feeling this those deep anguishes of death, and I had no peace for 7 months. So I wasn't healed, to be honest. I was just, wow, this is amazing, but I need something more to make me change, or it was just I needed something more.
Mm-hmm. And did you get something more? I mean, I get curious here.
Yes. Well, I started to pray. I used to pray when I was younger, but it was kind of not traditional prayer, but something not really serious. For the very first time, I was praying like it was that my life was depending on that. So I started to ask God if it was if it were true. And for weeks I had no answers. But I was still praying. And one morning, I felt the presence. It can be strange to say that, but I felt the presence of Christ in my room. So I was, for the first time after those months of anguishes, full of peace inside me. I wanted to stay in that presence. So it was my first encounter with Jesus at that time. I felt something. I felt His presence, and this changed my whole life. I started to cry a lot because it was something that cannot be described with words. But yeah, the huge amount of peace I had, I wanted to stay in that presence. So after that, I was still asking Him to show me, to demonstrate the truth, if He is the truth. So I had more experiences with Him that made me fully changed. After a couple of weeks, I was fully healed. Those anguishes I had, which were tormenting me days and night, were gone. So I said, okay, there is something solid here. I think that if God does exist, then He is living in Jesus Christ. So
Wow, that is amazing. So you really got a personal relation and a personal contact with Christ. It was not just a theory. It was not just words in a book, but it was someone you could relate to, and something that actually gave you, fruits. Like it made a difference for real in your life. That's amazing. I want to hear more, but before we go on to the next segment, I just want to play a little bit more of your music. We are playing Efisio's music in the background all the time here, but I want to turn up the volume a little bit. I want you to hear a little bit more.
Oh, thank you.
So this is so soft and so simple and so beautiful and complex at the same time. I love the music. I want to hear more about how you are making it and things like that. But before we go into that, I just want to ask you if anybody hears this and they think, I want that music, I want to buy it or download it, can they do that?
First, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, there is Spotify, the platform where people can listen to my music for free, but it will help me to earn a couple of I don't know how to say it. It's not, you don't earn
you get
a lot.
Commission.
Yes, but it helps you if one wants to listen to it for free. Or there is an album, physical album, which is on my YouTube page. and also on Amazon and all kind of social platform like that.
So you can buy your albums on Amazon?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, okay. But that's good, because I love, believers or anyone that likes your music. It is good to support each other. We are doing this together for the same master, so just want to encourage people to check that out. You told me earlier that you are making music and you are hoping to reach out to people that have not yet found Christ, that the music may be appealing to them in a new way.
Yes, I kind of make music for two main reasons. The first one is to, if one is searching for God, if one is searching for truth or need answers, I would love to play a role, even if it's a small role in that. If I can help, I would be glad to. And I don't want to force anyone, of course, to believe in what I believe, but I want to be honest with them, because I think it should be, you cannot lie when you're making art, or people will feel it if you're lying. So yeah, I hope that if I can help with the music God creates in me, I would be very happy. But I respect all people and all beliefs, even if they disagree with what I'm saying. So yeah.
But you just said the music that God creates in you.
Yes.
That is a powerful statement, and I understand what you're saying, but I'd like to hear, when you are making music, what happens? Is it like just, you sit down and you follow a book and do what it's, I mean, how do you come up with the songs?
Well, I have no musical training, so it will be hard for me to kind of read those notes. Not saying I need to study that also, I just don't have the time. But when it comes to composing music, well, first of all, I sit down my room and I pray, because I know that I cannot do anything without him. So I'm asking him if he could help me to create something, because inspiration is obviously, it indicates God. So I pray first, and after that I go to my keyboard or piano, and I let my hands go. I'm not overthinking it. I'm letting my hand go, and I hear while playing chords and notes what I have to do. I need to play that first, and I'm hearing what I need to do with a motif or a chord progression. So after that, there is the structure in the piano, and after that there is the build-up with all the orchestration. So I'm just hearing it, notes after notes. So I don't take credit, as I told you before. I know that it's external. So it's basically the way I'm trying to make music.
That is amazing, I can actually relate, because I'm an artist myself, so I can relate to what you're saying. But has there been any time when you didn't get the notes, like it was empty?
Sure. For example, it depends. Sometimes you can pray and you can have nothing. But when it comes to nothing, I just wait, and I keep praying.
Exactly. Because the reason why I ask is because if there are periods when there is nothing, and there are other periods when there's, it's just flowing, that's another indication that it's not just you making it up. It's not just, your inner source of this and that. It is, we are connected to someone, and that someone is the one that has created us. So it's
Exactly.
a beautiful thing. Yeah.
I fully agree.
Huh. So I love that. You started out in a rock band. You didn't have that personal believe. And then God called you, kind of, and you responded, and here you are making music for Him.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. You started making music, but how did it end up being albums? And, what was the path?
Well, I owe a lot to couple of persons which encouraged me to the field of orchestral music. Once again, confused by such beings, because I don't have a lot of friends, and it's a kind of lonely process when you make music, and even though God is working with you, you want to share it, but you don't know with who. You don't have a lot of person which is listening to you. But even that, I learned to value that, even if 2 persons are listening to your work. I learned to value that. But when you receive help from other people which are not does not share the same worldview, it has confused me. It has really touched my heart. So I really love them so much.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having this interview. I love your music, I love your humility, and I love your story. I wish you all the best, and I just want to say again, his music is available on Amazon and Spotify, and the name is Efisio Cross. It is spelled out with Efisio,